Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have the final of these newest LimeLight Miniatures models that I have the pleasure of taking a look at. There are actually more in the Kickstarter, so there are other species that you can grab in there, but this is the final one that I have currently. Definitely hoping to get more in my collection and up on my channel at some point in the future because they have a lot more really cool stuff I would love to see. But this time we've got another species that I absolutely do not have any models of in my collection. And as you can actually see right here on the front of this, it has another nameplate similar to what we had with the Anchiornis. We have a Cartorhynchus, and I'm not entirely sure if I did say the name correctly because I'm actually not too familiar with the species. I do know a little bit about it. I know it was a very small species of marine reptile, roughly around like 16 inches long, which is one of the reasons why you can acquire this with a full-sized version in the Kickstarter currently from LimeLight Miniatures. But again, the figure's really cool. It's definitely a species I don't have in my collection at all, and I really quite like the diorama that we have for it here. I think that as well looks really nice. So definitely a welcome addition to my collection, and of course we have the, like I stated before, the nameplate here on the front, making it have a little bit more of like a museum quality appearance, I would say. So I'm pretty darn excited about this. Let's jump to a closer look at it right now. So, starting up here at the head sculpt of our Cartorhynchus, you can see again the head sculpt looks pretty nice. We've got some nice detailing there. You can see the eye is sculpted nicely, as well as some nice kind of creasing there in the eye socket area. You can lead up here to the snout, get a nice look at what that looks like as well as, of course, the general skull shape of our animal here. You can see the opposing side looks pretty nice. This side's, of course, facing down a bit because it is on kind of a slant as it's looking for something to eat. So you can see that we can see the face, but it's a little harder to make out, more so than the initial side. As we begin to lead back through the body, you can see some creasing there in the skin as you move along. Really nice, really fine texturing to the skin of this one. You can see some tensing there in the neck as well. As you move down here into the front limbs, you can see that the limbs themselves have kind of a flipper-like look, and you can also see that there's some really nice, really vibrant scale detail here as you lead out into that area, which looks really cool. And I do believe that there was the potential that this reptile could have used those limbs to potentially walk on land. I believe I had read that somewhere. But you can see as we continue to move along, again, you've got a really good visual here of what the body looks like. You can kind of make out the rib cage there. You can also see the spinal column here moving along the back of the figure. And then as you move back here to the rear limb, similar to what we had seen as far as the style of scale detail we have on the front limb, but you can also see again that this side, of course, the rear limb is a bit smaller than what you see on the front. And then you lead out into the tail, and you can see the tail leads upward and has a pretty nice curve to it. Definitely a really sharp curve as you lead to the end, and you can lead down here along the underside, get a pretty good look at what the detailing looks down there as well. You're not going to see a whole lot of difference on the opposing side, mostly because it's kind of in a neutral position. I guess there's a slight turn to the body, a little bit of a swimming motion currently taking place for the figure, but not a whole lot of difference over here that we can see compared to the initial side. You can, though, see as far as the base goes that we obviously have like the water bed here that our Cartorhynchus is swimming around on, and you can also see we've got some vegetation sticking up here, which is really cool. I think this is going to have a really nice visual once it's finished and everything's painted. It's definitely going to look really nice. You can see here again as we move through, you've got more kind of stones and stuff down there, as well as an area here which looks like maybe this is an area where our Cartorhynchus might have been digging or swimming through. You can kind of see like some movement that was put through there, so that's pretty cool. But definitely, again, a really nice looking model. I'm really excited to get some paintwork on this one and top off my reviews of these LimeLight Miniatures products while the Kickstarter is still live. So let's get this painted and we'll be right back. And here it is now, fully finished and painted. And it, again, just like with everything from LimeLight Miniatures, looks absolutely awesome. I gave this one a pretty hefty gloss coat because I really wanted to give it that underwater visual here, because of course it's obviously swimming, it's obviously underwater, so I really wanted to create this in a way where it definitely looks like it's underwater. and I think it looks pretty darn awesome like that. I gave it kind of a pretty cool paint scheme that I feel like looks potentially natural for something like this, and you can now see again how beautiful the model itself actually looks. Once you add some paintwork to it, it really pops, really comes to life in the best way possible. And on top of that, the detail really shines in the base as well. Again, you can now see just how incredibly beautiful the base is when you paint it up and, get a nice look at how nice the detail is. I feel like you can never really tell how good something looks when it's unpainted. It's not until you add some life to it, you add some paintwork to it, and really make everything come to life and pop that you can appreciate just how good the model itself is. And again, it really does look absolutely awesome, especially when it comes to a species like this, because as I mentioned earlier, I don't have any in my collection at all, and you can now see we have the nameplate and everything here on the front, again, painted. So super awesome looking here with paintwork on it, and another amazing addition to my now growing LimeLight Miniatures collection. Now, as I've mentioned, this is a pretty small model, so you'll see as far as a size goes, I don't know where we should measure from actually, because it is a diorama, so like it starts here. So I don't know if I should just get the measurement for the Cartorhynchus, or I guess we'll go with that. For a length on our Cartorhynchus, you are looking at a little over 4 inches or 10 centimeters, maybe like 10.5 centimeters actually, or about 4 inches approaching 4 1/4, but not quite there. For a height there with the tail, about 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters, and then for a length on the base as a whole, about 3.5 inches, or actually I wouldn't say 3.5 inches, almost 3.5 inches or about 8.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, here is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pachylovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Cartorhynchus, and you can see again, definitely on the smaller side. It's without question here from this visual, but this is another one of those models that which, LimeLight Miniatures is pretty darn good at, because they've definitely delivered some really obscure species, stuff I did not have in my collection previously. But this is one of those models where I don't really have any other similar species, stuff like that I should kind of compare with it. So I don't really have, I definitely don't have any other models of this species in my collection at all. So it's a little bit tricky to kind of give you guys some comparisons where I would normally find similar stuff. So just for another comparison, we'll just do a few randoms. Here is a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus here to step in for another comparison next to our LimeLight Miniatures Cartorhynchus. And for another comparison, we've got the Collect A Deluxe Dimetrodon Schleich Diabloceratops and Safari Ltd Utyrannus here for another comparison. But for one final comparison, here is a supersized and standard-sized version of a Captives figure next to our Cartorhynchus, just to give you, again, a pretty good idea of the fact that this is a small model, but, like I said earlier in the review, you can purchase this in a life-size version as well, which would be a little bit bigger than this, so you can get 2 different size ranges for this model. So this brand new LimeLight Miniatures Cartorhynchus is an absolutely awesome model. Honestly, everything in the LimeLight Miniatures line is. They've definitely been delivering some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. And I was definitely excited about their Kickstarter, really excited about the stuff they were releasing. But it wasn't really until I had some of their models in hand that I saw how beautiful they really are. They definitely have given me some of the best models in my collection, and always delivering really high quality, almost museum-like models. I love that they kind of are consistently giving you sort of dioramas and stuff like that. It's not just, the model itself. For instance, this Cartorhynchus, you can see here again, is definitely swimming around. You've got the vegetation there all around it. Looks like it's heading down toward the bottom of the floor there to kind of look for something to eat maybe. And it looks really cool, just giving you a story, telling a story with the model. And that's definitely something that I really love, because it really sets the tone for the model and kind of pulls you right into the moment, which is something that really can make a model even more enjoyable, I think. And they've done a great job of sculpting this out to give it a very highly detailed appearance, really quite crisp and vibrant detail throughout. And again, just the fact that it is a Cartorhynchus is really cool in general, because, like I said, it's a species I don't have in my collection, and honestly, it's a species I don't think I've ever seen a model of prior from anyone, so that is really, really cool. And of course, when you purchase this, it would come unpainted. As you saw at the beginning of the review, I painted mine up, and I'm definitely happy with the overall final product. You know, I've really been a big fan of everything that I've painted up from this line, because I feel like the models and the sculpts are just so good that it pretty much paints itself. Like, it really does look great when you're finished. Even if you aren't the most experienced painter in the world, I feel like it's still going to turn out really beautiful. So if you are interested in picking this up, or any of the other models that I've reviewed recently, or any of the other models that are available in the LimeLight Miniatures Kickstarter, because there are actually more than what I've reviewed here on the channel, make sure you take part in that Kickstarter immediately, because you are in the final hours, the final few hours of the Kickstarter. It is actually nearing the end, so you definitely want to get your orders in right away if you are planning on picking some of these up again before that Kickstarter ends. So make sure you check the link that I will include in the description to where you can go take part in that Kickstarter, grab yourself this amazing model or any of the others, and of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.